How would an athlete know if their respiration is a primary limiting factor to their performance?
Number one, honestly, very few athletes have trained it. And like we train our systems all the time, but then we have this huge, impactful system that we don't pay a lot of attention to. So to me, every athlete will see benefits. Now, to answer your question more head on, I think an easy way for athletes to find out if they're just looking at their own, like let's say you go through a hard shift or do something hard on the court, time how long it takes for your breath to return to like what's actually normal. Not still like taking big breaths in, but just like back to normal, relaxed breathing. In an ideal world, an elite athlete should be about 45 seconds. That's a first line guy that's healthy in the NHL. In my experience, most professional athletes that have stayed relatively healthy are around 60 seconds. But if you can't do that over time, again, then it becomes even more of an issue. Let's say you go 2 shifts from the hockey world, you come back and now it's like, 2 minutes, it's a minute and a half, whatever, it's 3 minutes, even longer. Like you've got low hanging fruit on the respiratory side. Now, I think some more like that takes zero work, someone with a narrow face, like I've got a more narrow face, like you're going to be more prone to tongue ties, higher palates from a mechanical perspective. That puts you at more of a mechanical disadvantage where you need more respiratory work. Because when you have a high palate, your tongue will tension a lot. Your tongue is huge. If you snore, same thing. Most of these individuals do snore. But when you tension that tongue, that's pulling right on the trachea. And for those hunters out there that have ever gutted an animal, or if you've done an anatomy like lab at all, the trachea is like a Chinese finger trap. When you start yanking on it, so whether that's tongue tension or whether that's more anatomical dead space, which you could probably argue these are two, like it's feeding the same thing. You breathe more, you tension more the trachea more. Anyways, that'll yank on the diaphragm upwards. That'll extend you more. So now it's easier to get air in, but now it's harder to mechanically get air out. So that's going to start limiting things. For rotational athletes, that's going to start limiting thoracic rotation. Pretty important throwing athletes or in anything that needs to sprint or run. A lot of athletes, in my experience, have some acid reflux issues. Like they all take like Tums or something before a game or something to try to combat that. There's a physiological reason that's happening. And I think we're seeing it more. This is a different conversation as well. But as people spend more time on their phones, their cervical spines start to straighten out more from a visual thing. I've seen that over and over just in imaging. So it's not just me throwing something random out there. As that straightens out more, it's going to have that same effect.